Hey guys, today we're going to talk about how to practice. I'm going to show you just a couple songs. We've already done these songs before plucking through the book. We're going to use the bow today because we're starting to use the bow some. But the 5 steps that we have are right here. Go ahead and pause your video, write these down somewhere. I'll put these in the description as well. First step is to count the rhythms and clap. Second step is to say note names and clap. Third step is to say the finger numbers and clap, and that one will be different depending on your instrument. Fourth one is to shadow bow and say the bow directions, so up or down. And the fifth one is to play it for real. So this are the steps I use for all my students whenever we learn a new song. Okay, so before we get into that, let's really quickly go over putting rosin on the bow, getting everything tightened up. We've talked about this in other videos, so this won't take a long time. Got your rosin unboxed, got your bow here. First thing to do is tighten your bow up, so turn the screw to the right. And again, like I've said before, you're watching for the hair on your bow to have a little bit of space right here, so that if you were to set this down, pretend like this is my instrument for a second, if you were to set that down, it doesn't rest on there just with gravity. You could push it down if you wanted to, but just with gravity it won't hit the stick. So that's one thing you're looking for. You're also looking to make sure there's still a little bit of a curve in your bow stick, as I mentioned before. If it's all the way straight, it's too tight. If your bow hair touches the stick, it's too loose. So that's how you can kind of tell to adjust. Also, if you get a whole lot of bouncing when you go to play, depending on if you're brand new to it, it may just be the way you're playing, but it could be that it's too tight if it bounces a whole lot. Okay, so we've got our bow tight. We're going to take our rosin. We're going to leave our rosin in our left hand, leave it where it is. Go ahead and fix your bow hand, your bow hold like this. Adjust mine here. Make sure that it's correct. Make sure that your fingers are spaced out. Make sure they're over the edge a little bit here on the top. We're going to leave our left hand where it is. I'm just going to bow across without hitting my stand, hopefully. We're just going to bow across a few times. And depending on how new your instrument is, you may need to do this more, or your bow, I should say. You might need to do this more. My bow is pretty old, so I don't have to do it a ton, but I'll do it 5 or 6 times, back and forth. Make sure you get the whole bow, not just with the end of it, either side of it. Put your rosin back up. I've already tuned my instrument. Make sure you do that before you play. And then you're ready to go with your instrument, shoulder rest, and your bow. Now before we do that, if you have your Essential Elements book, we're going to start on number 8. And I'm only going to do 2 songs today. It's going to be kind of a short lesson because we've already played through these songs plucking. So you kind of know what they sound like already, but we're going to do them with the bow. So it's going to be a little bit different technique, but it's going to be something you're familiar with. So we're going to start on number 8. This one uses all open strings, so while we're starting with this one, it's kind of easy to get kind of back in the bow, using the bow a little bit. First step, as I mentioned earlier, is count and clap rhythms. So let's do that first. So we're going to say the rhythm numbers, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay, number 8. Ready, go. 1, 2, rest, rest. 1, 2, rest, rest. 1, rest. 3, rest. 1, 2, 3, repeat. 1, 2, rest, rest. 1, 2, rest, rest. 1, rest. 3, rest. 1, 2, 3, rest. Okay? That's step 1. Step 2 is say the note names. And for right now in this book, everybody should have the same note names. They should all be the same. So note names and clap. Number 8 again. Ready, go. D, D, rest, rest. A, rest, rest. D, rest. A, rest. D, A, D, repeat. D, D, rest, rest. A, rest, rest. D, rest. A, rest. D, A, D, rest. I didn't mention this in this video. I have in other ones. I always do hands apart on the rest, just so my students always have some kind of movement on the rest, even if they're not making sound. So that way they still know it's a beat. It still counts as time. They're just not making sound. Okay, the third step on here is say finger numbers and clap. This one I'm going to do normally with my students one at a time. I'm not going to do it for this video right now because I have 4 different instruments with 3 different finger numbers, and so that would make the video really long to go through. Make sure you do that on your own. Right now, anyway, on number 8, all of them are open, so it's not really that big of a deal to go over finger numbers. We'll talk about finger numbers in just a second on a different song. So we're going to skip that one for now. Let's do shadow bowing. So remember on shadow bowing, give myself some room, you start in the middle, and you still have a good bow hold, so hold it with your left hand, adjust your bow hold, make sure it's correct. You're going to turn it up vertically. And shadow bowing, if it's a down bow, you're going to go down. If it's an up bow, you're going to go up. We almost always start with down bows in pieces. If there's a rest, we freeze our bow where it is, and then we alternate directions after the rest. So for example, the first measure of number 8, we have down, up, and then we would freeze on the up because beat 3 and beat 4 are rests. And so we have next measure, down, up again. Third measure, we would have down, rest, and we would freeze. And then we had up on beat 3 because it's the note after the rest. And then we would freeze again because of rest on beat 4. And then down, up, down on measure 4. And then repeat. Okay, so let's do that together. Put your bow in the middle so you have room to go up and down. Make sure again that your bow hold is good. You don't want to, I call this caveman grip. You don't want to caveman it. And you don't want Pac-Man grip either with everything flat. You want to have your thumb nice and curved in the back. Just like that. Have everything nice and relaxed. Fingers are curved over the top. Here we go. Shadow bow number 8. 1, 2, ready, go. Down, up, rest, rest. Down, up, rest, rest. Down, rest, up, rest. Down, up, down, rest, repeat. Down, up, rest, rest. Down, up, rest, rest. Down, rest, up, rest. Down, up, down, rest. One thing I forgot to mention, at the end of number 8, we have a repeat sign, we have a rest at the end. So you actually have to put your bow back up during the rest in this case to get ready for the next note. So we wouldn't really pause necessarily like we would during a rest. We wouldn't freeze like we would during a rest for this particular piece, just because of the repeat. Okay, so that's step number 4. The last step is to play it for real. So grab your instrument. I'm going to turn a little bit so I don't hit anything. Alright, here we go. This is a violin, by the way, so if you're playing a cello or bass, it's going to sound a little bit lower. Try to use as much of your bow as you can. Keep it straight. Make sure you're bowing in this little space right here between the bridge and the end of the fingerboard. Keep your bow parallel to the bridge. You don't want it to go sideways or diagonal either direction. Okay? So let's play. Check your bow hold. Make sure that's good. Play number 8. 1, 2, ready, go. D, rest, 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 rest. Okay? And again, you'll notice at the end of the first time through, I had to move my bow back. We call that a reset or a bow lift. We'll talk about that more specifically later, but just make sure if you're playing through this 2 times, you move your bow back to the frog so you can do another down bow at the beginning. Okay? Alright, let's go on. Before you go on in your own practice, make sure you pause the video, go back and play this several times. I'm going, just as an idea of giving you the 5 steps and giving you an idea how to practice, I'm going a little bit faster than I normally would during a class. So we're going to skip over to page 6 in the book. Just to refresh our memory about the new notes on this page, so we have a G, and this is all on the D string. So we have our, on the violin, D strings right here. And we have our 3 new notes on the D string. So 3 fingers down is G, 2 fingers down is F sharp, 1 finger down is E. We're not going to use E right this minute, but we will eventually. We have before in the plucking. Again, your notes on here should look just like that. Your fingers should have first finger down, then a little bit of space. Second and third finger pretty much close together. Pinky, when we start using that, will be right here where this 4th tape is. We're not going to use that just yet. So we have G, F sharp, and E starting out. We're going to skip all the way over to number 12. Number 12 doesn't use any E's, but does use G and F sharp. We're going to skip to number 12. We're going to use the same process again. So I'm going to go through the whole process one more time, these 5 steps. And again, here they are. And if you haven't copied them down, go ahead and pause the video, copy those down. And like I said, they'll be in the description as well. So let's go through the 5 steps. And we've already done this piece before plucking it, so we're just going to do it bowing after this. So first up is count and clap rhythms. Number 12. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, rest. 1, 2, 3, rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, rest. Okay, I'm not going to repeat it for now, because it's the same thing 2 times, but we'll repeat it when we play it. Second thing is say note names and clap. So this should be, again, the same for everybody. So let's say note names in number 12. Ready, go. G, 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 rest, F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, rest, G, G, F sharp, F sharp, G, F sharp, G, rest. Okay. Next up, the third step is to say the finger numbers and clap. Now again, I'm not going to do this for this video because everybody playing different instruments will have different finger numbers. But if you're a violin player or a viola player, you'll have 3 and then 2 for G and then F sharp. If you're a cello player, you'll have 4 and 3. If you're a bass player, you have open G, and then you'll have 4 fingers for F sharp. So just make sure you know where your finger numbers are on this particular piece. And they're actually written in there for you in the Essential Elements book. They're written over top of the new notes as they change. Okay? So normally I would do that during class, but I'm going to skip step number 3 for right now. Let's go ahead and shadow bow. And again, remember, this has a repeat sign at the end, so we're going to have to kind of reset our bow back to the middle to have room to go back down when we play it the second time. So, number 12. Ready, go. Down, up, down, rest, up, down, up, rest, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, rest. Reset, down, up, down, rest, up, down, up, rest, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, rest. Alright? Now step 5, and again, make sure you pause before you do each one of these steps. I'm going way faster than I normally would in an actual class. I'm just doing these each one time so you can see how the process works. So go back on your own and practice all these individually before you go on to the next step. Number 12, we're going to play it this time. So check your bow hold, make sure you're starting down by the frog. We're going to start on D string. We're going to have 3 fingers down because we're playing a G first. And then for violins and violas, you lift up 1 finger at a time. And cellos will too, but you'll go from 4th to 3rd instead of 3rd to 2nd. Basses, you're going to go from your open G string, your highest string, to 4th finger on the D string. Okay? Alright, here we go. Number 12. 1, 2, ready, go. G. Rest. Rest. Repeat and rest. Rest. Okay, so that gives you an idea of the process we use to practice things. Now, this is the same process for any song you would learn. The more notes we use, the more times we're going to use this process and make sure everything is correct. And this also helps you, if you clap things several times before you play through them, helps you get it in your head a little bit, helps you get the rhythm down first before you try to do things like add fingers and add notes and all that stuff. So, again, this is the last time I'll show you for here. Make sure you write these down, or it's also in the description. Count and clap the rhythms first, say note names and clap second, say finger numbers and clap, which we didn't do in this video, but we would if it were a live lesson in person. And then shadow bow and say the bow directions, and then play it for real. Okay? If you follow those 5 steps and you take the time to really do it correctly, you should be pretty well able to learn any of these songs in here without too much difficulty. Okay, so hopefully that helps. If you have any questions or anything, let me know and I'll be glad to help you out. See ya.